have a talk on ureters. So ureters are the funnel-shaped tubes which are extending from the kidney to the water that of the urinary bladder. So these are the tubes which will be there running vertically to get open into that of the upper lateral part of posterior surface of the urinary bladder. So these ureters are having a length of 25 to 30 centimeter, and these you can say ureters conveys the water urine which is formed in the water kidneys by the nephron to the water that of the urinary bladder to store. The ureters which will be having a 25 to 30 centimeter length, it has got the diameter of 3 mm. So this diameter is not all the way uniform. In the beginning it is bigger, but when it will be traverses into the water that of the ending terminal part, it will be becoming narrow. And this urinary bladder, ureter, it will be the water retroperitoneal structure. Retroperitoneal structure along with kidneys, aorta, inferior vena cava, first part of the duodenum, and what you will be going to have that of the pancreas, ascending and the descending colons. So these all are the water retroperitoneal organ including spleen. So it will be varieties of that. So this ureter, it will be like this. So it will be the peritoneum. Now this ureter, when it will be descending from the water that of the hilum of a kidney to the what ureter, urinary bladder, it will be lying on the transverse process of the water that of the lumbar vertebrae, and also the lateral margin of this pars major corresponding right and left. The right ureter is a little bit lower than the water that of the left ureter because of the what? Lever on the right side. Now this you can say ureter which will be having like this. It will be for the purpose of explanation, it will be divided into what? Abdominal part and pelvic part. Now abdominal part and pelvic part, they are almost all half. I mean to say, abdominal part will be the 12.5 centimeter, pelvic part will be the 12.5 centimeter. If you consider the whole length of the water that of the ureter, it is approximate. Now, this you can say ureters. Coming to the what? Abdominal part. you should have a what that of the things, its extension. The extension of the abdominal part of the ureter from the water hilum of a kidney or the renal pelvis up till the entry into the pelvic cavity, that is the brim of the pelvis. Brim of the pelvis. That is the abdominal part. While coming to the water, that of the pelvic part is the one which will be starting from brim of the pelvis to the entry into upper lateral posterior surface of the water, that of the urinary bladder, where it opens. So that is called as the pelvic part. Now coming to the water, abdominal part of the water, that of the ureter, which will be running from the water pelvis of the water kidney to the water brim of the pelvis, having a length of 12.5 centimeter. This initially it is funnel shaped, but as it tapers towards the water, that of the entry into the pelvic cavity, that is the brim of the pelvis, it becomes narrow. It becomes narrow. It becomes narrow. Then relation of the water abdominal part. This is the water right ureter. This is the left ureter. Now anteriorly, the right ureter, it is in relation to peritoneum, both parietal and the visceral. This is what the parietal, and this will be the what visceral. So this is a visceral part of peritoneum. This is the parietal part of peritoneum. Then it is related to that of the second part of the duodenum. This is anterior. It is related to the second part of the duodenum. Then you will be having right colic artery, right colic vein, right colic group of lymph vessels, and right colic nerve filaments. Apart from this, you will be having right, I mean to say ileocecal or ileocolic artery, ileocolic veins, colic veins, then ileocolic group of lymph vessels, and then you will be having a ileocolic group of or ileocolic ganglionic fibers of nerves or nerve filaments, which are present right colic nerve filaments, ileocolic nerve filaments, which are present in the bottom mesentery. Apart from this, it is related to lower part of mesentery and its content, that is fat, areolar tissues, sympathetic nerve filaments which are present in the mesentery, and the branches of this right colic and the ileocolic, which will be there in that, and then you will be having a what mesenteric arteries, such as which are supplying to the water lower part of that of the, you can say, or the terminal part of that of the, you can say, ileum. Those are called the ileal arteries, ileal veins, ileal veins, sympathetic nerve filaments, that the mesenteric fluxes of nerves, mesenteric fluxes of lymph nodes, lymph vessels. So these all things will be there in that lower part of the mesentery, especially the ileal branches. Apart from this, you will be having the terminal part of ileal, yeah, into the cecum, forming a ileocecal orifice. So this all things will be there anteriorly. Now what you will be going to have posteriorly? Posteriorly you have got the transverse process of lumbar vertebrae. Then the what that of the psoas major muscle. Then medially here. So this model is the what lateral part of inferior vena cava. This is for right ureter. Now you have to go to the what left ureter. Anteriorly. Definitely the what parietal part of the peritoneum. With that, visceral part of the peritoneum. This is the visceral. Then you will be having anteriorly sigmoidal mesocolon, then the sigmoid colon, and the content of sigmoidal mesocolon. Apart from this, it is yet related to the sigmoidal races. These will be there in front. Apart from this, you will be having arteries, that is the left colic artery, left colic veins, then left colic group of lymph nodes, lymph vessels. Then you will be having here nerve filaments in that of the mesentery, which will be there left part of the mesentery now in this. So this will be the in front in total. Apart from this, right and left, in male and in female, right and left, these are the what? Testicular arteries, testicular veins, but here on the left, testicular vein, it will be not there at the high up, it will be there at the low, only below the hilum of a kidney. It will be ending. So testicular veins. Now testicular veins will be there. Now this testicular vein, testicular arteries, right, left, what much more longer, it can cross, but the left it will be going to open into the what renal veins. Renal vein. The right will be going into the what inferior vena cava. It is high up, not at that point. This will be the what in case of male. But in case of female, ovarian artery will be there in front. Ovarian veins are there right, left. These are the added things for right to the left you will be having. So in case of female also, right ovarian vein opens into the what inferior vena cava, but the left ovarian vein opens into the what renal vein of left. So this is what you will be getting, the picture. Now what you will be going to have behind? Behind you will be having transverse process of lumbar vertebrae, then lateral margin of psoas major of left. This is of this will be there. Now what you will be going to have medially now here for this? Medially you will be having the what? Abdominal aorta. So this will be the thing here. Now after having had this, now at the beginning of the ureter, for right and for left, in front you will be having the water renal vein and the water that of the renal arteries. So this will be the, in case abdominal part of the ureter. Now we will go to the what pelvic part of the ureter. Pelvic part of the ureter. Pelvic part of the ureter is almost taller. It is not like straight. It will be what soon after entry into the water that of the true pelvic cavity from the brim of the pelvis, after finishing the abdominal course, it will be going to have a convolutions or coils, and then it will be going to run anteromedially to open into the water, upper lateral posterior surface of the water urinary bladder. But while it will be doing so, it will be crossing 12.5 centimeter once again. So the length of the water that of the pelvic part of the ureter is once again 12.5 centimeter from the brim of the pelvis to the termination into the water urinary bladder, where it allow to leave the urine which has been taken from the what abdominal part into the urinary bladder, which is said to be as a reservoir of the urine. So this pelvic part of the ureter, now the relations in male and in female. So if it is the what pelvic part of the ureter, either right or left, it will be having laterally, so posterolaterally and posteriorly. Posteriorly it is related to lateral part of the sacrum, then the what posterior part of that of the, where you can say ilium, sacroiliac joint, and then common iliac artery, common iliac veins, then sacral Then you have got lateral wall of pelvic cavity, pelvic cavity, brim of pelvis, brim of pelvis. So sacrum is what in the median plane posteriorly, but these all are there posterolaterally. Now what you will be going to have postero means anteromedially, anteromedially. So this is posterolateral, pelvic part of the ureter. So anteromedially, it is related to in the pelvic cavity, in male ductus deferens, in male it is the ductus deferens. Posterolateral part of urinary, posterolateral part of posterior surface of urinary bladder, seminal vesicles, the arteries, veins which are reaching to the water that of the seminal vesicles, as well as the water that of the ductus deferens. Then areolar tissues, little amount of the fat and parietal part of the peritoneum, visceral part of the peritoneum, So this is the parietal part of the peritoneum. This and this, it is the visceral part of the peritoneum. So this is in case of male. Along with the reflections of the water, peritoneum by the viscera. Now in case of female, what happens? In case of the female, so in case of the female, anteromedially, so this is anteromedial. The lateral part of uterus, where the broad ligament of uterus and the round ligament of the uterus, fallopian tubes on either side. Then uterine arteries, uterine veins, lymph vessels to the uterus, where they are situated in broad ligament of the uterus, which is said to be as a peritoneal fold of the vessel. Then you have got the water vessels, means arteries, which will be reaching to the water that of the fallopian tube, vessels of the water that of the fallopian tubes, lymph vessels of the water that of the fallopian tubes. Apart from this, you will be having you have got the ovaries, ovaries, ovarian arteries, ovarian veins, ovarian veins, and ovarian group of lymph vessels and the lymph nodes. Then the nerves to the what? Ovaries and the mesovarian ligaments, mesovarian ligaments, and the mesosalpinx, which will be there to the what? That of the fallopian tube. So these all things will be there in case of the females. What happens to the, now this is what? The pelvic part of the urethra in female. In female. So posterolaterally the same structures are there. What you will be getting for the male? No change. So this will be the thing that what you will be going to get. Apart from that, posterolaterally or exactly posteriorly, you have got the rectum, rectal arteries, rectum or rectal arteries, then the lymph vessels to the what? Rectum, and the nerve fluxes which are there to the what? Rectum. So these are the what? Posterolateral relation and the posterior relation of the pelvic part of the ureter. In male and in female they go in without change. The change is only in the anteromedially because of the placement of uterus, fallopian tube and the ovaries in female, and in male seminal vesicles, ductus vaginus, urinary bladder. So here also in case of female, urinary bladder is there definitely. So you will be having a vesicular arteries, vesicular veins in pelvic part, in male and in female they are common. So you will be having here vesicle arteries, vesicle veins, vesicle group of lymph vessels and the nerve filaments. The same it will be there in case of female. In case of female, vesicular artery, vesicular veins and the lymph vessels and the nerves. So that will be there. So this is what, how the thing. Now after having had this, you have to go to the internal. The internal of the what? Ureter. Internal of the ureter, you will be having a three coat: fibrous, muscular and mucus coat. Now before going to the internal, you should know the constrictions. There are three constrictions, normal constriction. One is at the beginning, superior constrictor, at the what? Ending of the pelvis, renal, pelvic means a renal pelvis, beginning. Then another where it will be going to enter into the what? Pelvic cavity, leaving the abdominal. That is what? After crossing the what? 12.5 centimeter. And another at the what? Where it will be going to terminate into the what? Urinary bladder. These are the three constrictions. One constriction will be there superior. This is what? The middle. And this is the inferior. So three constrictions normally what you will be going to have. One is at the beginning, I mean to say ending of the funnel shaped part or the pelvis part of the ureter. Another is the middle at the brim. Another one will be there at the terminal into the urinary bladder where it opens. Now these are the what? Constrictions, natural or anatomical constrictions. Fibrous, it will be the what? Here and this one, and these are the muscular. They appear like this. This is a fibrous, this is the muscular, this is the what? Mucosa. So these are the internal. Now after having had the internal, you have to go to the what? That of the blood supply. Blood supply for the ureter is by the what? Ureteric arteries. are many. They are many. They are derived from abdominal aorta. They are derived from renal arteries. They are derived from ovarian artery. Ovarian artery in female. In male, testicular arteries. Then common iliac arteries. Iliac arteries. They are derived from internal iliac arteries. These are the, you can say, arterial supply. Venous drainage, corresponding veins such as ureteric veins, they are corresponding veins are there, then they will be going to get open into the water. Main venous stem, testicular veins in the what male, ovarian veins in the what female, renal veins, abdominal, aortic means abdominal part of the aorta, or they will be going to get open into the what common iliac veins, internal iliac veins, pelvic part. So this is the venous drainage. Lymphatic drainage of the water, that of the where you can say ureters, common iliac group of lymph nodes, internal iliac group of lymph nodes. Then you will be having a what? Renal group of lymph nodes. Then the what? Lateral aortic group of lymph nodes. So this is the lymphatic drainage. Nerve supply for the water, that of the you can say ureters. Ureter is by the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Sympathetic is the water, that of the you can say bodily segmented part. That is by the water, that is the L2 to the water, entry into the water, that of the upper lateral posterior surface of the urinary bladder. So it involves all the fluxes which will be there from this to this. I mean to say from the water L2 to you can say pelvic fluxes. Pelvic you can say spinal, that is a sacral. So that is the bodily segmented. Then you will be going to have a parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is by the water right and the left vagus. Right and the left vagus, when it will be going to come from the water, that of the esophageal. The you can say left, it will be there on the right part, left it to right will be going on the left part. So it will be going to supply. So and these you can say vagus nerve will be going to join to the water early and the water after the sympathetic ganglion of the spinal, and from that you will be going to get the water fluxes. Now those fluxes are there at the water very many levels in respect to the water on either side of the aorta. Then at the level of the kidneys, renal group fluxes, ovarian and the water, that of the you can say testicular fluxes. Then you have got the common iliac, internal iliac, and then you will be going to have superior and the what inferior hypogastric fluxes of nerves. So with this, that is what the nerve supply, sympathetic and the parasympathetic, or rather you can say it as an autonomic. So this will be the nerve supply. Now after having the nerve supply, you have to go to the water. Histology. Histology of the water, that of the you can say ureter, outer one which will be there, that is totally by the what fibrous. It is definitely by the what parietal part of the peritoneum when it will be. So you have got a little amount of the fibrous tissue in it. Then you have got the what flattened endothelial and the mesothelial cells are also there in that. You have got a muscular will be there. Now in the muscular, outer circular, inner longitudinal will be there. They are the plain varieties of the muscles. Then you have got a mucosal. So this will be the you can say fibrous, which contain the fibrous tissues and flattened endothelial and the mesothelial cells. Then you will be going to have the what outer circular. So this will be the what circular. Then you have got the inner circular, the inner longitudinal. These are the longitudinal. This is the circular muscular layer. Then you will be having a mucosal coat. The mucosal coat of the water, that of the, you can say, ureter, it is completely lined by, or completely you can say thrown into a what folds. Now in these folds you have got the columnar type of epithelial cells and then polygonal cells. Apart from that, you have got that the terminal part. At the terminal part of the ureter into the urinary bladder, you have got the transitional type of epithelium. Transitional type of epithelium. But rest, you have got the same character of the water that of the kidneys. So you have got the columnar, you have got the polygonal, you have got the things which will be there into that. So these are the things for the histology of ureter. So this is the histology of ureter. Then coming to the water, embryology of the ureter. Embryology of the ureter is nothing but, as it is a part of the water, excretory, rather urogenital, in male and female. In male we will be going to call it as the urogenital or excretory. In female we will be going to call it as a what, only the excretory. So it is a part of the water excretory system or urinary plus genital in male, as it is a part, it is developed from the bottom, mesoderm from the mesonephric part. Okay, so this is what the thing you will be going to have the embryology. Now after this you have got the applied anatomy. Applied anatomy of the what, ureter, any inflammation of the what, mucosal coat of ureter, that is called as uretritis.